Welcome back to the Secondhand Showcase, everybody. On this episode, we're going to be featuring a gun I have actually just purchased. So this was for sale at one of my favorite FFL dealers, Shooter Supply, located in Loveland, Ohio. They had this in the case. They presented this to me as a possible gun to do in the secondhand showcase, and I was a little bit too busy that day to actually film it. But I didn't want the gun to disappear, so I had them set it back for me, and it now belongs to the armory. So what we have here is a Bernardelli P.One. So this is an Italian-made firearm. It's in 9mm, 9x19. It's actually labeled as caliber 9 para, so 9mm parabellum. So it was imported by Century from Israel. This initially, my understanding is these initially went to Israel as police guns, and this particular example is without a doubt a police gun. It has been carried a lot. The finish on it is pretty rough. So, but the mechanically the gun is in very good shape. So it's my understanding, from what I'm able to figure out, it is a 4-inch barrel, so it's a service-sized gun, or it's a duty-sized gun. There are some out there that I think have 5-inch barrels, or maybe are target models, or maybe they don't call them target models, but they seem to be considerably larger than this variant. It's a DASA setup, double action and single action. This particular example, or this particular model of gun, enables the user to carry the gun cocked and locked. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So for I, as an old 1911 guy, this manual of arms works for me very well. It has a fixed front sight, and the rear sight is in a very tight dovetail. See if I can show that there. Dovetailed setup. So I guess in theory it is windage adjustable. As far as replacing the sights on this, that would be a neat trick. I don't know if I would really want to get into that, but definitely we'll play with it and see what has to be done. This particular example, in case I didn't say it, is an all steel gun. So it's blued finish, and so that denotes steel. This is a steel frame and a steel slide. It's a pretty heavy gun by modern standards for handguns. So shooting it 9mm, obviously I don't think it's going to have much muzzle flip or recoil. These were imported, as far as I can tell, just a cursory look on the internet, these were imported between 1993 and 1997. Since that was during the import ban, or the assault weapons ban, or the high capacity magazine ban, or standard capacity magazine ban, most of them came in with 10-round magazines. So this particular example they're not marked as to how many rounds they hold. It has 3 witness holes in the back. So I believe this is a 14 or 15 round magazine. I haven't confirmed it. We haven't shot it or done anything with it. So I'm pretty certain this is not a 10-round magazine. Steel body. This is actually a Bernardelli magazine, because it's marked as Bernardelli, and the reason it has their factory symbol on the bottom, it's a swan at the top, and then it has a triangle of VBG. So I guess Mr. Bernardelli's gun, so VBG. So it's the same. Let's see here. That logo is also on the grips of this gun. So the reason I point that out is, I don't know if this is true or not true, but some sources on the internet say that this will accept CZ75 magazines. So if I have a hard time getting magazines, maybe I'll look into getting the CZ75s and see if they work. But this does seem to come with factory magazines. And actually, looking at these magazines, they don't appear to be heavily used. So I think I caught a break on these. These are, obviously they're in much better shape finish-wise than the gun. So I think that's definitely definitely a plus. So one thing I think it's pretty interesting to note on this gun is when you rack the slide on it, and this is part of the reason why I pretty much scooped it up as soon as we saw it, is when you work the action on this gun, when you work the reciprocating slide, you can just tell it seems very, very well put together. It reminds me of the 9mm custom race 1911 that we featured a few weeks ago here on the channel. And this gun, while it's a duty gun, and I have no idea how it shoots or, you know, if the barrel shot out or anything like that, the action just feels, it's so smooth. It's not, it doesn't cycle like a traditional American-made duty quality pistol at all. Now the trigger pull, the double action pull, it's pretty heavy. It's significantly heavy. It's nothing to write home about. The single action pull on the gun, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's world class good, but it's, you know, I think the average shooter was probably not going to be good enough to do better with that trigger pull than out of a machine rest. So one thing we have noticed, well, I guess two things we've noticed with this gun right off the bat is, the first thing is the magazine button. It's a magazine release button. It's pretty small. It's very low profile, and it seems like to reach the button, you know, I'll have to rotate it in the hand and really get down deep into it to do a mag change. So if this is a, you know, if you're someone who likes a very high profile magazine release, you're going to really hate the magazine release on this gun. It's not that it's not positive, it's just it's a longer reach to get to it than your average modern guns made today. The second, I guess, peccadillo I've noticed with this gun, and I'll do it here, hold it on frame to give you an idea. So let's say you present the gun possibly for a committed shot. So you sweep the safety off, you pull the trigger back, and you decide situation is diffused. You come off the trigger. What I've noticed is I can't, oh, you know what? That time it actually went up. That's the first time it's ever actually come back on the safe. So obviously this gun, it's extremely dirty, and I just made an ass out of myself on camera. So apparently, so if you come up, committed shot, but you decide last minute to come off the trigger, you can put it back on safe. Now, the breech face on this gun, I probably can't get this on film. It's in good shape, no primer flow, no pitting, nothing, you know, nothing that's really gonna speak bad about the gun. I will say that, again, I don't know if I can get this on film, the inside of the slide has such a large amount of grease on it. It's almost this brown pasty color, and it makes me think there might be some corrosion inside this gun, and so it needs to be completely you know, detail stripped and degreased and any corrosion addressed. So I mean, this is a rough gun. If you're a collector of pristine Italian firearms, you're gonna hate this gun. But if you like surplus or military or police guns, this is a pretty interesting gun. So anyway, that wraps up this episode of the Secondhand Showcase. Sorry it's not available, but if it's so good that it's so good of a buy and we don't have one in the reference collection, we do buy them for ourselves. So if you want to see some video of us shooting this or more information on it, go to our blog page, john1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.